Hey, this is Jay with Lunaco Tarot, and today I'll be taking you through my June tarot haul. A few decks, a book, and a few accessories I picked along the way. I'll also give you some hints on what videos may be coming up based on the decks I will be showing you. With that, grab a cup of coffee and let's have a look. This is the June haul. Lots of decks, some other items, like I've got a book that I'm super excited to read, and a few things that will help me to get better at reading and creating videos for you guys. They're not all new decks, and a couple of them I actually already reviewed on my channel. I'll put a link where appropriate so you can go and have a look. And I'll talk to you about why I got some of these decks and what's going to happen in terms of me making a video about them. So first of all, there's a few of these beautiful decks that I got. The Mystical Cats, and if you saw my video where I bought 17 decks for $100, this actually showed up in a different incarnation. There was a cheap AliExpress knockoff. As I promised, I ended up going and buying the real deal deck, and I quite like this one. I don't think I'll do the full review of this specific deck because there's plenty of them there, but if you want me to make one and we've got enough people who are interested, I'm definitely going to do that. This deck came with an amazing full-size book as well, which I quite like. So this is a Mystical Cats Tarot. Now I also got this one here, which I haven't opened yet, and if you're interested to see what these decks look like, I'll be making these as shorts because they're quite mature decks, and there are a few reviews on YouTube already. But this is a classic. This was issued initially, I think, back in the 70s. This one is made in Italy, which is making it even much more interesting. 1984. So, and I think it was republished in 2004. And this is the Tarot of Cat People. Really cool deck. Has this 80s, I would say probably 70s style as well. And if you're wondering why is Jay getting all these cat decks, there is a reason for it. I'm actually planning to make a video on the top 5 decks for cat lovers, because this is Lunaco Tarot after all, and I do like cats. I hope you do too. So this is going to be another addition to that listicle of 5, and I'll do a bit of a more in-depth review on how these decks read once I get the chance to play with them. Last one is the Cat Tarot. So that's going to be another deck added to this list, and you just have to wait and see which one is going to make the list. And that video is coming out sometime soon, I promise. Now, there's another set of decks that you're probably already familiar with. This, I had a somewhat interesting experience reviewing a mini version of it, and I did like the artwork, but I'm getting a little bit too old to read without glasses because the font is too small. I don't get enough light. I need to wear glasses on top of lenses I already wear, so you can imagine it's a bit of an ordeal for me. So this is the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans, a legendary deck, and I don't think I'll be doing the full review of this specific deck because there are plenty of them out there. You probably have one of these decks in your possession, so it's like you're not interested in seeing it being shown on YouTube. But I'll tell you in a second why I got this deck. So there's also the Light Seer Tarot, which I've been playing with. This one is already open. Really cool deck. If you haven't seen it or haven't played with it, I suggest you give it a try. Beautiful artwork. It's reimagining of the RW deck, and it was initially created as a healing deck. And it's got a lot of positive energy about it. I quite like it. And if you want to see this deck compared to another popular deck, the Unveiled Tarot, I'll be using this deck for that video, but it's also going to appear in another video, and I've got these 3 beautiful decks that will be part of it. This one hasn't been opened yet. This is the Modern Witch Tarot, another very popular deck. And if you haven't figured out, these are actually three the top most reviewed decks on Amazon. And I've got an idea of a video that I'll be making. It takes a bit of research, and that's what I'll be busy with in the next few weeks. But hopefully when it comes out, you guys are gonna love it. It's a different take on these decks. Hey, real quick, can I ask a favor? I noticed that 75% of people who watch my channel don't actually subscribe, and if you enjoy this video and find it useful, hit that subscribe button. It helps me to grow the channel and also create videos like this, because you tell me that you want more of this. Alright, back to the haul. So with that, let me show you 2 decks that you probably have already seen if you're one of my subscribers. The Illuminati Tarot is a reissue of the original deck that was released in 2013. I did a full review of this deck on my channel. Beautiful deck. If you're interested, there is a full review. I'm not going to go for it here, but the design and the artwork is stunning. Now, this deck is not without its flaws, and if you want to find out what I think about it, you can check out the full video on my channel. And this is as well a deck from June, the Magical Hours Tarot, a recent release created by 2 Italian authors, and this is the US Game Systems release. Another great deck. It looks like a lot of you enjoyed it. Very suitable for sacred feminine readings. Amazing artwork, and I follow the artist Fabiana Belmonte. She is the one who created the images on Instagram, so this is not an AI deck, and there's a lot of work went into this one. Now on to the next one. You probably remember that deck I mentioned, the Tarot of Cat People. I have another video in the works where I want to look at the forgotten decks. So this is decks that were released in the 70s and 80s, and they're amazing, but no one seemed to know about them because they're a little bit dated and quite often invisible because of all the other beautiful decks that have been released recently, like this one or the Cat Tarot, and I want to bring them back to life. This one I haven't actually played with it yet, but there are a couple of other ones that will make this list, and you saw it probably in my May video. So now I've got the complete set of 5s that I would like to show you, and that video is also going to be coming out soon. Now, changing gears a little bit, I'll show you some of the other things that I bought this month that were equally cool. So this, my friends, is an amazing work by Marcus Katz and Tali Goodman. And what they did, they went and looked at the history of RWS deck. They went through Waite and Smith archives and created an amazing artifact. I actually thought that none of the original work of Pamela Coleman Smith, the Pixie, was actually still existing. For some reason, when I read about it, I think it was an Instagram post or somewhere on the internet, they said that it's such a sad life that her legacy didn't live on. Everything is known about her is this RWS deck, and that's all left. And it's so untrue. Heaps of work was actually left after Pamela that is still around. There's a lot of illustrations in these books that I'm so looking forward to read about. There's some history, obviously with Arthur Waite. There's more artifacts left, but there's plenty for both of them. This deck talks about the inspiration behind some of this artwork. It also talks about the original images from some of the decks that were used, and it goes into the meaning of every card. And I'm not sure about you, but I learned a lot from history. That's why I liked the other book, the work of Robert Place. His narrative is probably the one that really resonates with me, and I'm hoping this book is similar. It goes into each card and talks about the details, but also some historic references to previous work. I think I'll learn a lot from this book, just because diving into each card's original meaning is going to be helpful. You sort of go straight to the core of how this originated. I'm wondering if you have read this book, because I think it's been around for a few years. I'm curious if anyone else had the chance to read it. Now, because I rarely use Celtic Cross, unless I'm doing a reading for someone, it's normally a smaller 3 or 6 card readings that I do more often. I always have to refresh my memory, and I thought this would be a good addition to my tarot reading mats. So as you can see, this mat has a meaning for each card, and it's also not useful just for me, but it's also a person I'm reading for, because they can see where I'm placing a card and what it says there, which I think it's quite useful. I don't know if I'll be using it in videos, because you rarely see people using Celtic Crest for readings on YouTube, but I may do. The quality is quite good. I didn't find any typos, that's the best thing. The mat has this velvety finish. It's quite nice on touch, and it was also reasonably priced. The stitching is really good for it on it. Quite like it. Now the next thing I bought is a bit of an unusual item. I didn't think I would get it, and I'll tell you why I got it. So this is a print of all Rider-Waite-Smith cards in a poster, and I'll tell you why I got it. I often, when I work with decks, and if you haven't seen my video about 5 decks people shouldn't get if they're starting out, there's a good example of a deck there that you probably need something like this sitting next to it. Is the Mushroom deck, Mushroom Tarot. Now with that deck you still get the suit numbers, but it's quite often confusing because the imagery is so different from RWS deck, and I think this is a type of a deck that you need sort of like a reference point. Now I thought it would be a good idea to have this, and to be honest, since I got it, I haven't actually used it a lot, and I thought that maybe something else would be a better idea, and I came up with this. So this is a really cool metal poster. I haven't unpacked it yet, and as you can see, it does exactly the same thing. So when I review decks, because I haven't worked with them in a long time and I just get them out of the box, and the imagery is completely different from LWS, I will use this. This one is so much better than the poster. First of all, it has meanings, and the images of the cards are quite small. The whole size of this thing is very small too, so I can easily put it on the wall close to my reading area. And this is, I'm just comparing this to the size of this poster for you. Another cool thing is that these cards are arranged in this matrix. So if you want to find one, you just find the element and you just go down to see where the card is, right? And you only need a little bit just to maybe see the imagery. I think even just an imagery will be efficient enough. But you also have the meanings of the card here as well to just jot your memory. I think it's pretty cool. It's a bit of a easy cheat sheet for a lazy person like myself. And I'm gonna try to use it, but I haven't yet. So that's everything I grabbed in June. Let me know in the comments below if you like any of these items, or maybe you've got something interesting you would like to share yourself. And if you want to see me unwrapping these decks, I created a couple of shorts so you can check that out. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.